Hey YouTube, how you doing? Happy Sunday. Got my vacation beard coming in and it's driving me crazy, so shave that tonight. We just got home a little bit ago, got unpacked, so vacation is officially over. So doing some laundry and all that good jazz. But wanted to do a cigar review I didn't have a chance to do while on vacation. Really didn't have a lot of good signal. And I was going to do this one yesterday, but just we did so much for this vacation, and we swam for a couple hours yesterday. I was just so tired on the fourth. We just watched some fireworks and called it an early night. But this is the Romeo and Julieta. This is the Desede, if I say that right, Desede, 1875 from Habana, Cuba. So it's a Cuban cigar. It's Churchill size. Gifted to me by my good friend Paladin Piper. So Pat, thank you for this. I want to do a review on this. I told you I was going to save it for 4th of July, and that's what I did. So pairing it with just some sweet tea, and it's delicious. So let's get this cut up, and we'll light it up and check back in the first third and kind of give you my thoughts. Never had one of these before, so this will totally be a blind kind of shot at it. But be right back. Hey, folks, we're back. So, getting into the first third, the one thing I noticed right off the rip, it's got a pretty tight draw on it. So, it's burning pretty well, but the draw is really tight. I could loosen it up, but I don't want to. I just want to see. If I have to, I will, but just want to see that, see what it'll do. Um, Obviously, this is one of the most counterfeited products in all the world, a Cuban cigar. So I had some fun. Not that I would have believed Pat would have sent me a fake Cuban or anything. And I'm not saying that, Paladin, so don't take it as that. But I really had some fun doing research on these bad boys and figuring out how to spot correct Cuban cigars by different manufacturers from fakes. And the bands and everything on this pass all the sniff tests, all the tests that are out there that show you how to spot fakes. Now, you unless you're in Havana, Cuba, and you're buying it in Cuba, even if you're buying it in countries that sell Cubans, you still run the risk of potentially getting a fake. They're that mass produced, and they're getting good. But you know what? At the end of the day, it's still a great cigar. Now, with this cigar, the notes are really interesting. Not as sweet as I typically like. I usually like that little sweet cedar zing that you get from an Arturo. But it does have when you retro, it does have a nice cedar taste. And not a super sweet one, but it's a really nice woody cedar light taste. This is a medium, mild to medium bodied stick. It's not one that's going to blow your doors off. It's not a heavy full bodied, and it's never been intended to be a heavy full bodied. So I taste a little bit of pepper, almost like grilling spices, I call it again, baking spices. And one of the most interesting notes I pick up is salt. I get a little bit of salt on my lips, which is was pretty unique. It's not a real long finish, so you get it, you puff it. It's pretty much it's there for a minute and it's gone. It doesn't hang around and linger like some others. Now, depends on who you talk to. Some people say you're only supposed to retrohale a cigar 3 or 4 times the entire stick. Some people say they retrohale every puff. This tastes much better through a retro. I will tell you that without question. Do the retro. You get still get that salt. You get the cedar. I look forward to see if it transitions any. It's got a pretty razor sharp burn. It's a little wobbly, but not bad. I haven't touched it up. Haven't touched it at all. And again, if I was going to knock it for something, would be the tight draw. Really cool bands on it. Really, it's got the really gold ornate bands on it. One of the ways you could tell if this was fake is also the lettering, which passed the test. But on this Churchill band, as long as it says Cuba on the left side and Havana on the right side, you're good to go. This one does. So everything I checked on it, just again to have some fun and learn. This was, I much appreciated not just to smoke it, but it was a great learning tool that Pat sent for me to be able to do research and really see what these things are about. That's what makes the hobby, not the habit, the hobby so much fun, is learning about different things. Romeo and Julieta, or some people pronounce it Romeo and Julieta. I don't think it's going to go wrong either way. It's named after Shakespeare. One thing I learned in Cuban factories is when they were rolling cigars, they would have like a teacher or a storyteller down there telling stories as they would roll. That's where Romeo and Julieta come from Shakespeare. It's where Monte Cristo comes from reading the Count of Monte Cristo. It's one of the oldest cigars in the world. And the 1875 is one of the most sought after of that line. It's one of the best selling cigars in America, the Romeo and Julieta 1875. And that would be, I believe, the Dominican version. I think it's Dominican. In fact, I'm 99% sure it's Dominican. You're not going to buy the Cuban one here, you know that. But I think Dominican's where they make the other one, and they say it is equally as good. But let me get into this, see if there's any transitions into the second, third. We'll come back and talk about them, and I'll hit you back up. See you in a bit. All right, hey, we're back. I'm going to call this the second, third. Rapper did that to me. That may be my fault. I'm not going to knock the cigar. I had it packed in a travel humidor in my bag. I was trying to be careful with it, but I might have done that. So I'm not gonna say it was a cigar. The draw is still exceptionally tight, a lot tighter than I'd like. Again, I'm not going to correct it because I wanted to experience this one the way it was rolled. Any other cigar, I'm taking my cigar. It's not a cigar corrector, but I'm going to take my cigar tool and I'm going to fix this. My quick draw or whatever they call it. There's a million names for them, but I'm going to fix it and open it up some. It's a little tighter than I like. It's transitioned a little bit into more of a peppery taste. Still get that nice sweet. It's a little, maybe a little sweeter than it was cedar. You get the nice cedar, but you're getting some pepper now. The salt's still there a little bit, and it's picked up a creamy taste as well. So this one's still medium to mild in strength. This was actually, I did not know this, Romeo and Julieta, whichever way you like to pronounce it, was Winston Churchill's favorite cigar. And that's how it got the Churchill name. And a lot of companies have made the Churchills now, but this was his cigar, his brand that he enjoyed to smoke. That was real salty right there. Really, it's rumored that he smoked over 250,000 cigars in his day, and that's a lot of cigars, man. Somebody did the math. It's like he had to smoke 7 a day from the day he was born. So, that cat was pounding 15, 18 cigars a day, if not more. If that number's true, I don't know that it is. That sweet tea does pair well with it. Wish it hadn't a crack, but again, I'm not going to knock points. It's a good flavor. I mean, there's nothing wrong with this stick. Now, it's not going to come out to be my best cigar ever. It's not the best cigar I've ever smoked. So, I know sometimes folks get into that Cuban mindset of it's the best cigar in the world. Well, maybe. You know, I haven't smoked them all. And, but right now, you know, there's some other cigars for my money that I would rather have. Now, again, I'm much appreciative of getting this. This is fantastic. And it's, you know, one of those experiences that you don't get to do every day. Along with the fact that, you know, you can't just get them. So I think that's a lot of the mystique. And I am probably going to have to correct it now that I'm hitting this jazzed up part. But the love affair with these are that you can't get them. And, you know, you can get them overseas, any other country, but you can't buy them in the United States. And you could bring some back. You're allowed to have Cubans in the United States. You just can't, you know, purchase them here in a B&M. So you're authorized to bring X amount back when you go overseas to visit, or, you know, gift them as gifts to friends. You're allowed to do that. You know, they're not illegal because of the substances in them. It's the same tobacco that you're going to get, other than it's grown in Cuba and not Nicaragua or the Dominican or anything like that. It's just tobacco. You know, it's not an illegal substance in this or something that makes it illegal in the United States. It's just due to the tax embargo that's been in place since we dang near had World War III because of the Bay of Pigs and the Cuban Missile Crisis. Those two things right there, if you're a history buff, there's so much history. The Churchill smoking these and the history that goes behind that, the embargo on Cuba and why we can't buy these in the United States is pretty interesting. Still to this day, you know, there's talk, you know, so the embargo's been in, I believe, since, don't quote me, I think 62. I think that's when Cuban Missile Crisis was, 62. I don't think it was 63, but I'm pretty sure it was 62. So you're talking now, what, almost 60 years coming up on it. So I know there's been talk about doing away with the embargo, but not yet. No, it doesn't throw out a lot of smoke. As I say that, smoke wafts by. I haven't found so far that it throws out a lot of smoke, but it's a good stick. I'm going to be back in the final third. Let me get this corrected up a little bit. Looks a little wonky, but we'll get it corrected up. Again, I think that was my fault. I don't think it's anything to do with the cigar. I'm not going to knock it 1 inch because I think I just may have handled it a little rougher than I should have, unfortunately, and I was trying to be careful. So anyhow, let's get back to the final third. We'll get back and tell you how it finishes and where it stacks up in my humble opinion. Be back, folks. Hey, so we're at the final third. Just finish it up. I'm probably going to put this down here in a second. So I'm not the biggest Churchill guy. I'm more of a Robusto / Toro at the biggest. But Churchills are, this was a 7x47 stick. So it's a big cigar. But again, Paladin, thank you so much for this. Final thoughts on this bad boy. Let me flip to my handy dandy cigar rater. I was just looking at, you know, I said this probably wouldn't be my favorite. I'll tell you my top 3 favorite right now. Yeah, I'm old. I got to put on reading glasses. But in my humidor that I've smoked and used on my app and rated, the top 3 I have going right now. And really, I'm just going to go top 2 because I have a bunch tied with 4 stars. So the top 2 I've got going right now is Padron 1964 Anniversary Maduro. Phenomenal smoke. And the La Flora Dominica Andalusian Bull, and that's another big cigar that takes me 2 hours to smoke, and quite frankly, it's a special occasion because it's too big. And I'm losing gas on this, so as we finish this one down, we'll go ahead and set her down. I'll give you my thoughts on it. So the final third, it kind of changed a little, picked up a little more pepper, a little more sweetness on the cedar. That little salt and spice taste was still there, which was pleasant. But let me get to it. Let me tell you how I rated this. So, um, all in all, it was a pretty good cigar. So I've got it personally rated at 3.5 out of 5. And here was my ratings. I gave it a 3 on the draw, and that was kind of kind. I probably should have bid it a 2. Um, but it's not the worst draw I've ever had. But it was a very tight draw, the whole entire cigar. The appearance was a 4. The band is just a classic, beautiful band. The wrapper was fantastic. The little ding on the wrapper, that was my fault. The burn was a 4. It burned very well. I know the knock on these is they don't burn very well sometimes, but this one did. This one burnt pretty sharp the whole way. Aroma, out of it all, I really liked the aroma probably the best. It had a really nice cigar, classic aroma that you don't get in every cigar. And then the taste, I finally had it a 3. So all in all, I was a 3.5. So again, it's a good stick. So my first forte into Cuban. This was, I read earlier that it was we're going to mess up the pronunciation again. I can't pronounce it. Desedre. I can't pronounce it. But anyway, that means since in English, since 1875. Not to be confused, this is not the Romeo and Julieta 1875 branded cigar. That's a Dominican stick. Very good, very high rated stick. I have never tried one, but it's very high rated, very good. But this was just the Romeo and Julieta Churchill Cuban. So all in 3.5, all in good. And again, thanks Pat for giving me the opportunity to review that. The cap is perfect. I love it when I can get the cap off and it looks like a little acorn. That's how you cut them. So a lot of times folks have asked me, how do you cut these daggone things? Because if you cut it too short, you cut it past that cap, whether it's a single, double, or triple cap, it'll unravel on you and you'll have a mess. And I've had a lot of friends that have had that happen to them. And I've done it. You just learn it, right? That's how you learn. But that's what you're looking for. Just a little cap like that. Looks like a little acorn shell. It's absolutely perfect. So fun. The little things that amuse me. So again, good cigar. Was very pleased with it. I found it to be mild, very mild for the first half. It picked up a little bit of strength on the back. It got to be a little bit more medium. The flavor's hanging a little bit more than it was on the first half as well. So there you have it, folks. My first endeavor, my first ever chance to try a Cuban. I'm not displeased at all. It was a good cigar. Romeo and Julieta, one of the longest brands. They've been around as long, if not longer, than anybody since 1875. You learned that, right? Since 1875. So good stick. If you have a chance, grab one. I don't know what people are asking for these in the secondary market. If you've never had a Cuban, it may be worth to throw a couple bucks at it just to have one. But if I wouldn't chase this one. If you got a good price, or if a friend gifted you one, or somebody was going overseas and picked you up a couple, great. But I wouldn't spend a lot more than what they're worth on these, because they're good. Dominicans have come a long way. The Dominicans and the Nicaraguans right now are making some of the best cigars in the world, and debatably better than the Cubans. It's that romance here that we can't get the Cubans. So there's that aura, the romance, it's a Cuban. It must be spectacular. It's tobacco, folks. It's good. But the Dominicans are good, and the Nicaraguans are good, and there's a lot of other ones that are good. But there you have it. So again, Pat Paladin, thank you, sir. Still got one coming. Hadn't forgot about that. And that's it. So we're going to call it a wrap for vacation. Go in and get ready for work, take a shower, and relax the rest of the evening, and start it up again tomorrow. Be safe, everybody. Take care. That coronavirus is still lurking out there, so take care of yourselves. Wash your daggone hands. We'll catch you next time. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Have a great night, everybody.